1965. My dad's 25. He's in graduate school, living on a stipend. He has a guitar, a K. Remember that guitar too. But for some reason, he saw a Gibson in a showroom, in a window or something. He had to have it. I don't know where he got the money for it, but he spent $140 in 1965 to get a brand new Gibson. Years later, when I was adult, when I had the guitar, he fessed up that, or maybe my mother told me this, that he hid the guitar in the trunk of his car for several months after he bought it, hiding it from my mother, because he knew she would not approve. And he would drive to the park and take it out of the trunk and take it out of the case and play it in the park by himself, then stuff it back in the trunk. So it doesn't seem to have hurt the guitar, even though it says on the original receipt, leaving your instrument in a car or unheated room in severely cold weather, blah, blah, blah. He didn't pay attention, but he had to hide his purchase for a while, I guess a couple of months. So I guess it's probably one of my first, probably my very first memory of live music happening is here watching my dad play guitar for us in the living room. So it's an important part of my career and my life. And when I was about 25, I was in a band with a drummer, and he played real loud, and I had a Yamaha guitar, and I kept breaking strings. Every gig, I'd break one or two strings, and it wasn't good for the show, to stop the show for 5 minutes to have me change strings. So I thought, well, I'll borrow my dad's Gibson. So he was up for that. And it very soon became apparent that the Gibson was way better than my Yamaha, and so I thought, well, I'm not going to give this back. I need this more than he does. He's got a Martin anyway. So I wrote a song for him, and the dad song. And when he heard that song, you never asked for the guitar back. He was satisfied with the song. So
it's been yours ever since.
Yeah, I never did give it back. So I've had it since 1989, and he passed away 2 years ago. So yeah, it's a family heirloom.
How many gigs have you played on it?
Wow. Well, I've played this at every single gig I've ever done since 1989. So that would be quite a few gigs. Yeah. A couple thousand, I guess. Yeah, I played at the Ryman with this guitar. Yeah, I stood there looking at the floorboards of the stage of the Ryman and then up at the balconies. The Woody Guthrie tribute show that Jimmy LaFave put on. So, and I did a couple of solo songs there where it was just me in my cowboy boots on the Ryman stage and my Gibson guitar. So, quite a thrill.
What'd your dad think of that?
I don't think I ever relayed that story to him. That was just one night out of many, and I didn't see him for months at a time. So I don't know if I ever get to tell him about that. That's too bad. I have fond memories of watching my dad play this guitar around the house, and he'd play for me and my little brothers when I was 4 or 5 years old. He did. Well, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. That was my favorite song when I was 4.
That's good.
Yeah.
For you, I give up all my time, searching for the perfect rhyme. And this is one that certainly perplexes. For you, I would spend all my days thinking up all the crazy ways I love you even more than I love Texas.
I went out to the Kerrville Folk Festival in 1992, and I just moved to Austin a few months before. And I was in the New Folk competition, and I played on the Threadgill stage one afternoon. And this short little lady ran up to me. I remember she was wearing an orange tube top, and she was really short, and she looked up at me and she said, "Who are you?" She heard my song for the first time, and she was very excited to see this new kid, on the scene. And I told her my name and my story and everything, and her name was Barbara Roseman. And at the time, she ran Butch Hancock's store, Lubbock Or Leave It, where he did tape duplication, and he sold art, and he sold all his records, his cassettes, CDs, and so she became an early adopter of mine, an early fan. And then she invited me down to Lubbock Or Leave It, and that's why I had all my tapes duplicated when I made a new cassette. And during South by Southwest and other events, she would hire me to be, to help out at the store when things get real busy. And so I'd just be there, selling merchandise or whatever, helping her out in any way. So I get to hear a bunch of stories about Butch in the old days and that Austin music scene from the 70s and 80s. So and we've been friends ever since, and I still visit her once in a while. She lives up in North Austin now.
I've been a big Butch Hancock fan for as long as I can remember. I think Horseflies is as good a song as has ever been written. I think it's beautiful. So many great songs. Me and my buddy Todd left Indianapolis and drove all the way to Austin, which was about a 17-hour drive, just to go to Lubbock Or Leave It. We'd heard that it existed. There was no internet.
Right.
We didn't have any way to know how to find it. We just got there and started asking people, where is it? And they pointed us to it. We showed up and Butch wasn't there, but it must have been Barbara. She was really excited that we cared. We were from Indianapolis and we cared about Butch. And she said, would you like to see where we make our cassettes? I'm like, yes, I actually would like to see that. So she takes us into the back room, and there's just a jam box with 2 tape decks. And she says, we put this one in here, and we put a blank one in here, and we record them. And she records something, and she says, would you like this one? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to buy that one, please. I bought the old Flatlanders poster with that Butch drew, I guess, with everybody on it and all the names of the songs written around it. I still have today. The same one that's hanging up at Windsor Castle above the bed in Nottingham. We stay there at James Windsor House.
Yeah, I got one of those too out in the barn.
Everybody has to have one.
Yeah.
But you have the sign. How did you end up with the sign?
Well, it's this really cool sign, Lubbock Or Leave It, that I assume Butch painted. I mean, he didn't sign it or anything, but it's in his style, and so I just assume he must have painted it. But that sign hung out the old Brazos Street location where I used to help out Barbara. And then, the rents went up, and she moved to a different location up around North Loop and Hancock. And she hauled the sign up there and had it installed off the roof. And when she closed down that store and shut down Lubbock Or Leave It for good, I helped her move out and moved all the stuff into her house up there. And as we were packing up the last load, I saw that sign up there hanging from the roof. And I said, Barbara, what are we doing with the sign? And she said, I can't do anything with it. And I was not going to leave it there. And I'm afraid of heights, but I found a ladder and I climbed up onto the flat roof of the strip mall store, and I unbolted it, and somehow we lowered it down, and I packed it up and took it home. Yeah, it's hanging outside my garage outside in Wimberley. There's no room for it inside, but it's hanging proudly facing south. Lubbock's that way. I put my contacts in for you today.
Thank you, Slaid. You're a true pro.
It cleaned up.
See what I got to work with this shit?